Hi, my name's Nick Tann and welcome to my Fresh Music Fix. Artists from around the world send me their tunes. I pick the songs I like the best and put them together in a podcast to share with you. Welcome to episode 62, where we've got Mark Ward, Eugene McGuinness, the Kettle Zone, Heroic Mr. Kemmer, but we're going to kick off with Plasma Driver, It, and you are going to love it! Okay, lovely. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's just me today, flying solo, because that Chris is away somewhere. I think he's in Turkey. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's still in Turkey. Well, he was in Turkey. Anyway, forget Turkey for the moment. That was Plasma Driver and It. A whole bunch of like influences there. Lots of things that sort of popping up at me. Sorry, I'm a bit. Let's get this podcast done on the things. Oh God, I'm really not very good today. I'll ease into it. Don't worry. Anyway, let me tell you, the Plasma Driver are from they're Miami based, but for some reason their stuff was. I told you, I'm not very good at the moment. Let me just get into it. Hang on. Okay. See what it is. Let me tell you what it is. I didn't do the podcast at the weekend. This is Monday. Actually, this is Monday afternoon now. It's nearly 12:30, and I'm doing it now. And I'm going to do this podcast, record it, and it's going to go out straight away. And then I'm going to have some lunch because I'm a bit hungry. So I'm kind of like, right, let's get this podcast done. Get it done, and then we can go and have some lunch, and everything is going to be lovely. And so I'm sort of going, okay, let's do this, because this is the sort of person I am. I come in and do this, but I'm not, because we normally do this on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and it's all set up, it's all ready to go, And it all ends up being published on a Monday morning at 1 minute past midnight. So I missed it last weekend because I was busy doing stuff last weekend. I've been in the studio all this weekend recording with my band. And so today I'm a bit like, okay, let's do this. I had some other stuff to do, some personal stuff this morning. Nothing horrible personal stuff, but just sort of like, let's get this done. So I'm like that. So you bear with me today, dear listener. And we will get there. We will get there. So anyway, that was Plasma Driver. A whole load of stuff. I can read you a little bit what they've sent to me. The company, Grace Williams, is a delirious agency. Sent me their stuff, and they're in Bath. They're in Bath. Anyway, Plasma Driver returns with the latest single, thought-provoking and visually driven release. That explores the absurdity of the human search for meaning through a uniquely playful lens. The band's name came from the lead singer Brian's early experiment with an Erica synths modulator called a Plasma Drive, and so Plasma Drive was born or formed or whatever. There's lots of stuff. I will post some stuff on the notes as per usual. If I can find anything, there's not an awful lot to go. Oh, there's a website, so I'll send you to their website. So if you're interested in what they're doing, we can have a little website to look at. So enough of that. Sorry about faffing about. So the next track I'm going to play you, this is Mark Ward and Point Blank. You'll love this. Lovely. I like a straight flat ending like that. Is it a straight flat ending? I don't know. Honestly, I'm so hungry. It's not my fault. It's not my fault, I tell you. So I really like that. That was Mark Ward and Point Blank. I can't tell you an awful lot about him because there's not an awful lot on the email. What happens is when I get the emails, I play the tracks and I look at what the email brings up. And then when it comes to the notes, then I do a deeper dive and I'll do a search for them and find out more about them because, that's the way I do things. So hopefully when the deeper dive on the notes, we'll find out a little bit more. But I really like that. I tell you what, I did really like it. I could have done with more harmonies because it's on the verses as well. I could have had more harmonies on the verses and have a third part. Have a third part on the choruses because it's a nice song. It sort of chugs on quite nicely, but some more harmonies would have just really lifted it for me. But still, very, very nice. Now, Eugene McGuinness, this is very, very nice. This is East End Requiem, and it might not be what you think.
If only I had a clue now of what I knew back then, a ghost of an echo of an ocean from when all the world was new, how greeny blue eyes would glisten, and pylon after pylon, now the silence is deafening. Call me on your way, it won't be long, your chariot awaits tonight. I see the avenue invaded by another evening of siren light. So sing again. Yeah. Turn on the big light, bug-eyed and tongue-tied again. Turn on the big light. Can we try make some sort of amends? Red, amber, green, and then red again. I guess everybody sees red in the end. Call me on your way, it won't be long. Your chariot awaits tonight. I see the avenue invaded by another evening of siren light. Save again. East End Requiem. Yeah, save again. And enough is never enough. Enough is never enough. Enough is never enough. Call me on your way, it won't be long. Call me on your way, it won't be what I need back then. A ghost of an echo of an ocean from when all the world was new. How greeny blue eyes would glisten. Pylon after pylon, now the silence is deafening.
Beautiful, beautiful. Come on, finish now. I could fade it out, but it's in logic, it's too much of an effort to do that. I've got to kind of do that afterwards. Anyway, That was Eugene McGuinness and East End Requiem, and yeah, it was a requiem to the East End, the East End of London, of how it's changed over the years and years and years and years. But yeah, lovely. They've written in the blurb. There's lots of blurb written about this. They mentioned Divine Comedy, but also a little bit of pulp as well with the lyrical. It's very lyrical. It's beautifully lyrical, and I loved it. Just loved it. I loved the bits. I loved all of it actually, and the bits at the end where he kind of goes off into a little bit of a reverie, and the bass also decides it's going to wander off as well. We're going to go off here and do this, and it's really nice. Very very nice ending. A nice change from a drop. From what do we call that thing? See, I'm coming down a little bit more now. I'm a little bit less jumping around like an excited puppy. From the bridge. So the bridge was kind of at the end, and it just sort of it just sent us out on a lovely little into the sunset. Let's say that, shall we? Okay. So let's do the Kettle Zone, and I can't say this word. Anomie, Anomie, Anomie. Get out of my head. This is the Kettle Zone. Excellent. That's the Kettle Zone and Get Out of My Head. Well, Anomie. I should actually mention that we've played the Kettle Zone before. We've also played Eugene McGuinness before, but I just thought I'd mention that anyway. So I've had a weekend of recording, kind of recording an album, but not recording an album. And I'll get back to Eugene, get onto the Kettle Zone in a minute and what I thought of that. obviously loved it, otherwise I wouldn't have played it. Anyway, so this weekend recorded a lot of songs. We recorded 9 songs. But we recorded bass and drums for 9 songs. And keyboards as well. And so I was making decisions, although kind of some of the decisions that I'd already made, of like how long we do the start, how many times we run through that intro, how long does it take before we do that bit again, or where the verses are, how many verses before a chorus, and if there's any, because I put solos into songs because I'm a big fan of solos. And how do we end the song? How do we, so all those sort of decisions are made actually. So, so it's interesting listening to the decisions that have been made by other musicians, as I love to do, as I do every week, as you know. So listening to that song, I really enjoyed it. Otherwise, obviously, I wouldn't have played it. But for me, I would have cut it in half. Just have a short song, because there's nothing wrong with a short song, because you kind of got to think sometimes as a musician, why am I recording this song? So we've moved forward from like 70s, 80s, 90s, blah 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 blah. Let's go all through all that different kinds of music. What would happen is, in the traditional sense, people would generally established bands would go and make an album, or they might make a single, but they'd make an album. And they'd release 1 or 2 or 3 singles from that album. So, and that's what they'd put out. They put that out on the radio, and hopefully, if all the pluggers etc. had done their job, then that the song would make it would be a hit, or would at least attract people to go and buy the album. That doesn't really happen much nowadays. Not at the level that we are, that I play and that I am and myself. So to come out with an album is quite a sort of grandiose sort of like thing. Although I've got friends of mine, Dan, not Dan Hartman, Dan, oh God, I can't think of his name. I'll think of his name later on. Has come up with an album, and bands do come out with albums, but it's a big undertaking to do that. And so when you're putting out a song, when you're sending out a single song to be played on a podcast or a radio station, you kind of got to think, why are you doing it? Because you're not going to make any money out of it. I mean, that would have happened before. Getting played on the radio, you earn a lot of money on the radio. Every time, if you get played on Radio 1, Radio 2, those sort of levels, you get a percentage. And it used to be, and I'm talking about maybe 15, 20, whatever years ago, something like £45 a minute, which is quite a lot now when you consider how many times a song will get played. So I think decisions that you make when you're making these songs is quite important. And the main one being, the first one is, why are we recording this song? What are we bothering to do this for? Is it just because we enjoy recording? And if it is, that's a fantastic reason to do it, because there may not be any other benefits to recording that album, recording that song. But if you're going to record a song and you're going to send it out, you've got to think what it's going to do for you. And so I think that in a song that like that Kettle Zone out of my head, or Anomie, I would have made it shorter. I'd have cut it, because you've got other songs coming out. I'd have cut it in half, and then have that bridge. And have that as the ending, or maybe not even have that bridge. Just have that. Just keep banging away at that chorus at the end, because the chorus is great. Anyway, that's my thoughts, because I've been having those sort of thoughts all weekend of like, how do we start this song? And I've got a couple of songs that have a few surprise starts. They might be a bit longer, a bit shorter. Necessarily try and make things a little bit different. But just to make it a little bit more interesting to listen to. Anyway. The last song we're going to play today is, and this is the Royal We, by the way, I just thought I'd mention that, is the Heroic, not the Heroic, there's a temptation to go the Heroic. It's Heroic Mr. Kemmer and Horizon.
Not sure that I want to carry on. The aim is is not the same. The uniform doesn't fit, I'm hit, starting to look lame. I haven't got the energy, the drive I had is gone. I'm fading like a battered torch, falling like a rotten porch in pouring rain, a shame. But best to go when you choose. We all lose it one and same, we all get the blues. I remember what burned, the yearn to see it all, to hit the ball, not take a fall, the yearn to call, and to be called. No fear of not knowing, just carry on, keep going. No end to this at all, the only end what you don't know. But now the dust is settled, and I'm an empty kettle. The exhaust is exhausted, just rust on empty metal. Almost crying for release, but not yet, not yet. Not ready yet to cease, can't let go, can't forget. Cause release this is not, it's a duty I forgot. A punishment too hot, my copybook got blocked. And I'm a stamp set in time, here it is, and I got mine. I see myself sidelined, sidewind through minefields. I've no shield, I have to yield. Nature looks down on me with a grin like daggers. I have to feel broken in bottles for you. I'm smoke rings in the stars for you. I'm broken in bottles for you. I'm smoke rings in the stars for you. I feel light as a feather, insubstantial, like I'm never gonna mean anything again. A wisp amongst the real men, a thought but not a memory. A hemorrhage I cannot see, I'll leak until I'm pale and thin. A hymn to giving nothing in, a choice lived out upon a whim. A roach alive within a tin, but dancing in my mind, I'm only 21 again. Coursing down the streets, cursing everyone I meet. And they can't keep up with me, cause I'm a devil with dancing feet. And I'm razzle, razzle, all we dazzle. The world it loves me, so let me dazzle. Rock the rock that I'll rock, make the moves that I'll make. I can't stop, I was made to shake this world to the core. And more than that, much more, I'm ready to be adored. But this is memory flooding back in on me. Inevitability, a vicious flood, a bruising sea. I'm back in my beaten frame, ashamed, I'm caught unaware again. Daring to believe that I could be more than this shuffling stain. Once where I was a bullet train, a speeding road, a motorway. There's nothing but a pebbled lane, signposted in vain. Leading to a heart that cannot start. Only seeing whole, only feeling fault. Shattered, drifting apart. I'm frayed at every seam, a grin like daggers, all I feel. A fading torch, a light too weak, I've lost my last appeal. The uniform doesn't fit, I'm hit, starting to look lame. Not sure that I can carry on, the aim is not the same. Broken in bottles for you. I'm smoke rings in the stars for you. I'm broken in bottles for you. I'm smoke rings in the stars for you. Not sure that I want to carry on, the aim is not the same. The uniform doesn't fit, I'm hit, starting to look lame. Not sure that I want to carry on, the aim is not the same. The uniform doesn't fit, I'm hit, starting to look lame. Not sure that I want to carry on, the aim is not the same. The uniform doesn't fit, I'm hit, starting to look lame. Not sure that I want to carry on, the aim is not the same. The uniform doesn't fit, I'm hit, starting to look lame. Broken in bottles for you.
Lovely. What a beautiful piece of music. What beautiful performance from the very first to the end. Lovely. Beautiful. I really like I love the way it built and came down and came up and came down, etc., etc., etc. There's an awful lot going on there. Again, though, I'd have cut it shorter. And it might be because I've been making these sort of decisions all weekend of where this ends, and it's kind of in my brain. I'd have just there were about 3 or 4 different ideas in that song, and that's all fantastic. And the spoken word is beautiful, and the references in the bio to K Tempest is absolutely spot on. That sort of like intensity, etc. It's actually Greg Bramwell. Well done, Greg Bramwell, and who's the artist, and Simon Bradshaw, who's the producer. I also got a bit of Back to the Jury about it, which was quite nice. I'd have cut it shorter. There's about 3 or 4 ideas in there, 3 or 4 different places that we went to. I'd have just made it 2. Just simplify it. People aren't that sophisticated that they need. Do you know what I mean? So, because there's a bit where it's like, and then ended it. I would have ended it there. But I mean, I'm sitting here, and you've done it. So these are just my opinions. For what they're worth, they're just my opinions. Because otherwise, I could just sit here and go, oh, what a great. Oh, I don't know why I'm putting on a strange voice, but I will. Oh, that was a great song there from so and so, and they're from so and so, and they're from they've been together for 15 years, and there's John, and there's Pete, and he's the guitarist, and this is the cleaner, and this is the guy that do you know what I mean? I'm not like that. I've never been like that, and I won't be like that. So yeah, here I am. Morning, everybody. Actually, afternoon now, and we're going to finish. So I'm going to wrap this up. And I will welcome you. I'm actually going to hopefully do next week's podcast in the next couple of days. I've had lots of music sent to me. I might even give you a little snippet of what we recorded at the weekend. It's quite exciting. Quite an exciting time working with a really, really good producer. Really guy and really knows what he's talking about and makes it sound fantastic. I tell you. Anyway, thank you all for coming along. Thanks everybody for sending the music in. If people want to send their music in, please send the music in. I get stuff from pluggers, but I get stuff from human. Actually, pluggers are human. What am I talking about? But yeah, just send me an MP3 file attached to an email, and we can talk. We can talk. Anyway, thanks very much, Cindy, for coming along. Thanks everybody for sending the music in. I'll speak to you soon. I love you all. Goodbye.